Welcome, everybody. Welcome to JC Transformation Strategies. Welcome to our Sunday upliftment. Thank you to everybody who's joining today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for being part of the team. Thank you for your support as well. And welcome to the new subscribers. Okay, so to those who have celebrated their birthdays throughout this week, a happy birthday to you. I hope you had an amazing time. Those who have lost loved ones, deepest condolences. And whatever achievement that you have achieved this week, well done, congratulations. We are super proud of you. Even if you started to be on diets, or you started to exercise, or you started doing the 10-minute brisk walking, well done. Okay, you guys are doing well. Please continue exercising. Okay, right. So today's topic, guys, is gonna be very relevant to Christianity, but it's also for all religions. Okay, so if you're a human being and you're surviving and you are alive today, please listen up. All right. Today's topic is, whose vine are you leaning on? Whose vine are you leaning on? Okay. So I'm pretty sure as soon as I just said vine, you know that it pops up John 15. Okay. Right. So we're going to be reading from a spiritual book, the Bible, from John chapter 15 verses 1. It says, I am the true grapevine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch of mine that does not bear or produce fruit, and he prunes the branches that it does bear fruit, so that it produces more. You have already been purified by the message I've given you. So remain in me, and I will remain in you, for a branch can do nothing without me. Okay? I'm the vine, and you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much more fruit. For apart from this, you can do nothing without me. Repeating again. Okay, let's do verse 7. But if you remain in me and my words remain in you, you will ask for anything you wish and you shall have it. Your wishes will be granted. All right, so we thank God for his precious word. Okay, I'm reading from the Holy Bible. So, guys, today's topic is, whose vine are you leaning on? All right, so remember, the vine is the most important part of a tree. Okay, so from the vine, we have the branches. Now, the branches is us, basically. We are the branches because we feed off from the vine. So, the vine is the one that's going to help us. Whatever nutrients that's there, it's going to share it to us. Okay, so we need that nutrients, we need that water, we need that guidance, we need that support. All right, it's very, very important. So we need to know who, where, who is the vine. All right, so who is the vine in your life? So you need to have a spiritual life. Okay, your spiritual life is going to be God, right? You know who you're serving. Okay, that is your vine. It's important right now for you to get back into your spiritual life. That's what today's topic is about, because I want you to rely and to depend on your spiritual higher being, all right, which is God. Now, the problem is we lean and depend on the wrong source. So we lean and depend on other people. We lean and depend on words. We lean and depend on fake promises, fake assurances, fake validation. And that's where the problem lies. We need to lean on our source, which is God, which is our spiritual higher being, right? So, first thing, as you know, your source is a heavenly being. You know who you serve. The branches are us, the vine is God. And remember, the vine is the source of life, provides spiritual nourishment. So, the vine is the one that actually produces that support to us, the branches, but the vine is also the one that actually helps us, okay, to for us to survive, for us to make it in life. Okay, and the vine is the one that's going to provide even the spiritual nourishment to nourish us in a way that we know that we can depend upon the vine. Now the branches is us, so we rely dependent on the vine. The vine dresser is God, so that's God, remember. So, who tends your vine? Who's pruning your vine? Because remember now, you as branches, you need to be pruned. You cannot have like old ways. So your old ways gets pruned out, it gets removed, and then the new you develops. So it's important for that, okay? It's like your garden. You got to clean your garden. If you have weeds and all that stuff, your plants are not really going to grow up well. Okay, you even need nourishment. That's why now even like people actually use eggshells, we use potato peels, we use carrot peels as well, even apple peels and orange peels, and we put them in the garden where the plants are, and that provides natural nutrients than to buy all these chemical things, because that's going to provide the nutrients for that plant to grow. And that's how it is for us. We need that nutrients to grow, we need that support. Now the only way we're going to get it is from the vine. So you need to stick onto the vine. You need to know that, hey, I depend upon the vine. The vine is going to make it happen for me. Yes, I know there's so many things that's happening, but I know my nutrients, I know my sustainability will come from the vine. Okay, so you don't need to fear of anything, because the Bible clearly says, do not worry or be anxious of anything. Look at the birds, they don't worry about anything, but they still wake up, they still sing, they still move, they still get fed, they still continue life cycle. And that's how it should be for you guys. Okay, so every time when you feel down, check the birds outside. Put your phones away, put your screens away, go outside and look at how the birds, how the wildlife actually survive. And why can't you? Okay, so who tends your vine? Who's pruning? Who's making sure that you are abiding safe? So remember, abiding is more close, intact, safe with the vine. All right, there's something, guys, I wanted to read out to you. And I was actually reading this book. It's Winning the War and Worry. Okay, this is such a beautiful book from Louis Giglio. All right, and this book actually inspired me a lot. I'm still reading. I won't say I'm actually done, but what was really amazing that has us picking out today's message. There's actually a chapter based on abiding, and that just caught my attention because it just so matched up to what I'm going to be bringing. Okay, so as before we get into that reading, remember, know who's the source of your vine. Your vine is the one that's going to attach you. Your vine is the one that's going to be bridging you into your spiritual life, into your physical life, into your alignments, okay? Because it's important for you to have a spiritual life so that you get connected, you get aligned to your destiny. And also, another thing is, if you don't have a spiritual life, it's going to be very difficult for you to tackle situations that is out of your control. Let's say now you received x-ray report or a blood test, and it, let's say, diagnosed you for cholesterol. Okay, he diagnosed you for a high cholesterol, but how are you going to um, process this whole thing that, hey, you know what, I'm diagnosed with high cholesterol, or I have pressure, hypertension, things like that. How am I going to actually just be calm and accept this and everything? Because there's certain things that one diagnose, one call away, these things actually changes your life. And that actually needs you to realize you need to depend on God. So your source of who you are depending on is crucial. You need to make sure that you have that spiritual alignment, you have that spiritual being in your life, no matter what you're facing. Because certain things are just out of your control. There's certain things that you just need to take, and you just need to take that yoke and just leave it to the higher being. Because it's too much for you to handle. That's why God says, don't worry about tomorrow or the next day or the next month or the next year. Because he knew we're gonna stress the hell out of ourselves, okay? He knew we're gonna really panic, and that's causing so much of diseases. Do you know most of your autoimmune diseases is from panic and stress, and even your IBS and your ulcerative colitis and all those other things, and even cancer? It all comes from your stomach. It all comes from how you feel. And if you haven't dealt with emotions and you just kept silent about things, that's why you're suffering today. It's because of that. Okay, so remember now, have your vine in place, have your source of vine. Once you have your source of vine, you know that you're connected well. You're getting your nutrients, you're getting your supply, you're getting your strength, you're getting your support, you're getting your all in one. It's important to have that, okay? And leave things into the higher being, leave things into the higher frequency. You don't have to deal with everything, you don't have to participate in everybody's arguments, you don't have to participate in everyone's drama and issue. No, you just release it into the realms. Okay, today is a message for you to know who is your vine. If you haven't found a vine, yeah, think you need to think about it. It's important, okay? Very, very important. Um, I know in life it's very difficult for us to trust again, but that is why today's message is for you to lean on the higher being, the spiritual alignment. It's just gonna help you just to de-stress a bit. So yeah, guys, I was looking at this book, right? Abiding versus dividing. And before I read that, there was abiding in the everlasting vine. So we counter anxiety by abiding. And what does it mean to abide, to remain, to dwell, to stay in a constant posture of surrender and dependency? All right, so you know when you actually abide in, you stay put, basically, and not on your own strength and your own power, but on the character and nature of God. So we know from John 15 that says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who remain in me, and I in them will bear much fruit. So I love this verse because I think it's a full of good news. First, we see that right off the bat, what our role is in this whole story. We are the branches, Jesus is a vine. That means that He is a source of life, of nutrients, of richness, of vitality. He is our source, we are the receivers. As branches, our job is to remain. We have to stay connected to the vine, and when we do, we bear much fruit. What kind of fruit do we bear? Right, we know the fruits that you need to bear: patience, kindness, love, faithfulness, joy, gentleness, self control. Okay, so do you see worry in that list? No. Do you see fear? Do you see control? All right, do you see anxiety? So when we invite God into our body, we surrender or we offboard our need to control, and we onboard His call to dwell and abide in us. Okay, so it almost sums up to everything that I've just said to you guys. Okay, now the other one is maybe next week I'll read that to you. It's about abiding and dividing and talking about your phones. Okay, so today, guys, the message was dedicated. That's why I had to read Winning the War and Worry. It's a beautiful book. I think I got it from Take a Lot. I'm not sure the price. But please, guys, if you can, do get the book. It's so much spiritually inclined. You're going to be blessed by reading that book, okay? So remember, your vine is where you're going to pull the nutrients from. It's going to give you the source of life, the source of happiness, the source of peace, the source of patience, and all the good fruits that you need to have in your life, okay? So make sure if you're ever feeling down, know who's your source of vine and release, and also know that you don't release all your things to God, because you don't need to actually hold on to these things anymore. That's the whole idea of having a vine, okay? Because we are the branches. All right, so remember, guys, we're gonna wrap up now with a meditation. And you know, on our show we always wrap up with meditations, okay? So you're gonna take a deep breath in, you're gonna hold for 4. Like, so you breathe in for 4, hold for 5, and then you release for 6. Okay, that's why it's called 4, 5, 6 roll. Okay, that's how I remember it. Okay, so now you're gonna take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, hold for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now release for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna repeat after me. You're gonna say, from today, raise your dominant hand, please. From today, I will depend on my vine, and I will lose control of things that are out of my control. I will depend on my vine, and I will lose control of things that are out of my control. I am the branches, and I will feed on the vine for spiritual nourishment, physical nourishment, alignment, peace, and good health. And then you just lift your hand and declare and say, it is done. It is done. Okay. Remember, I always tell you, lift your dominant hand. Like for me, it's my right hand, because it's speaking in the atmosphere. It's declaring things, all right? And it's also, it's a good energy, right? You feel relief. Why? Because you did some breathing. Okay, you did some grounding techniques. Right. Thank you guys so much for watching today's session. I hope you guys are blessed, and I'm wishing you guys a blessed week ahead. Can you believe it's coming to the end of April? My words, I will not say the quarter of the year is already done. Yo, right. Remember, stay put. Don't give up. Everything will be fine. Keep the faith. Know that you are loved always. Know that you know what, the victory is yours. Whatever you're facing, it's just for the moment. Things are gonna change for your good. Remember that. Speak positive into your life this week. It's a very precious week. It's a very crucial week. I see a lot of challenges for some people. A lot of things will be happening, but you need to keep the faith, okay? I see maybe you're also tired because you're coming from work tired. You don't have the time for yourself. But I see that you need some rest, okay? I see in the spiritual alignment that you need some rest now. You've been carrying a lot of burdens. You've been carrying a lot of things. But God is saying to you right now, you need rest. You need to release now. Okay, you've been a babysitter for everybody, doing this, doing that. Now it's your time to just rest and relax. Alright, make sure to take your leave. If you need to take leave at work, take your leave. Alright, don't burn out. Don't. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned to JC. Love you all. Bye.